All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we are tackling charisma. It's one of those things that feels almost magical, right? Like some people are just born with it. But what if I told you it's actually a skill you can learn? We're going to break it down into a really practical formula that you can start using like today in your professional life.
Okay, picture this. You've been there, right? You're in your favorite coffee shop. Everyone's kind of in their own bubble. And then someone walks in, and the whole energy of the place just shifts. People look up, they might even smile. And you notice it's not always about them being the most attractive or the best dressed person in the room. They just have that something. So, how do they do that? That's the question that pops into all of our heads. Is it a gift? Were they just born lucky? Or is there a secret to it? Well, guess what? There is a secret, and it's something absolutely anyone can learn. So here it is, the big reveal. Charisma isn't magic. It's a formula, and it's built on three core pillars: presence, warmth, and, this one's a big one, truly not caring what other people think. It's a skill, not a personality trait. So let's break down each one of these so you can start building this for yourself. Okay, let's dive into our first pillar: total presence. This is the bedrock, the absolute foundation of trust and connection. And it's so much more than just, being physically in the room. It's about being fully mentally and emotionally there.
You know, the source material for this explainer has this incredible story about being at a networking event. He's talking to someone he really, really admires. And right in the middle of the conversation, the person just stops and asks him, "You're looking at me, but are you here?" And it just hit him. He was there, yeah, but his mind was a million miles away, planning his next sentence, worrying if he sounded smart. He wasn't really present at all.
And that story just perfectly captures the difference, doesn't it? On one hand, you have the person who's just physically there, but their mind is just racing. And on the other, you have someone who is completely 100% focused on you and the conversation. And that focus, that makes people feel seen. It makes them feel important and safe. And that is the absolute core of trust, and honestly, of great leadership.
I love this way of thinking about it. True presence is like a campfire. Think about it. A campfire isn't trying to impress you, right? It's not putting on a show. It just is. It's steady, it's warm, it's raw, and people just naturally want to gather around it. That is the magnetic pull of genuine presence. It draws people in without even trying.
Okay, so this all sounds great, but how do you actually do it? How do you make this practical? Well, before your next big meeting or that networking event you're kind of dreading, try this little grounding exercise. Seriously, just take a few deep belly breaths. Feel your stomach actually expand and then soften. Then close your eyes and imagine roots growing from the soles of your feet, anchoring you deep into the ground. It sounds a little out there, but this simple trick can instantly calm your racing mind and get you ready to truly connect.
All right, on to pillar number 2, the power of warmth. So, if presence is what builds trust, warmth is what builds influence. It's the secret sauce that makes people genuinely like you and want to get behind your ideas. So there was this really fascinating study out of Wharton that looked into this. They basically sorted thousands of professionals into 3 buckets. First, you have the takers. Their main focus is, what can I get from you? Then you have the matchers, who are all about, I'll do this for you if you do that for me. And finally, you've got the givers, who just help and share and support people without keeping score.
Now here's where it gets really interesting. The results were totally counterintuitive. Most of us would probably guess the takers get ahead, right? But nope, they usually got stuck somewhere in the middle. It was the givers who ended up at the 2 extremes, at the very bottom and at the very top of the success pyramid. So what gives? What was the difference?
Well, the difference was everything. See, the givers who ended up at the bottom were basically doormats. They said yes to every single request, they got taken advantage of, and they just burned out. But the givers at the top, they were smart givers. They were incredibly generous, for sure, but they also had strong boundaries. They knew how to lift other people up without losing themselves. And in doing that, they built this incredible, deep loyalty. And that is the absolute essence of effective leadership.
So how can you start cultivating this kind of smart warmth? Here are 3 little rituals you can try. First, gratitude. Just take a moment to focus on what you have to give, not what you feel you need. It completely shifts your mindset. Second, set an intention. Before a conversation, just silently repeat to yourself, I am here to give. And giving can be as simple as giving your undivided attention. And third, visualize. Actually picture the person you're about to talk to walking away from the conversation feeling better, feeling inspired or lighter. This simple shift takes you out of performance mode and into service mode. And that brings us to our third and final pillar. And honestly, this one can be the toughest, but it's also the most freeing. It's all about letting go of what other people think of you. This is the key to truly authentic charisma. Just think about it for a second. Who are you when you walk into a room? Are you the performer, constantly managing your image, worrying about how you sound, totally dying inside if a joke doesn't land? Or are you your authentic self, unshakably you, relaxed, real, and totally okay with a little bit of awkwardness? Being the performer is absolutely exhausting, but being your authentic self, that's magnetic.
And you know what? People can feel the difference. They can sense it a mile away when you're putting on an act versus when you're just being you. Real, genuine charisma doesn't come from some flawless performance. It comes from the quiet confidence of being completely, unapologetically yourself.
Okay, so how do you build this muscle of not caring? Well, our source suggests something pretty radical, a 30-day embarrassment challenge. The idea is to intentionally do things that trigger that fear of being judged. Things like lying down on the floor of a coffee shop for 30 seconds, or singing on the subway, even if you're a terrible singer. Ask a total stranger for a hug. Yeah, it sounds brutal, and it is at first, but the goal is to teach your brain that judgment isn't the end of the world. You can handle it. You survive.
So there you have it. That's the blueprint. Presence, warmth, and letting go. See, developing real charisma isn't about trying to become someone else. It's actually about becoming more fully yourself by practicing these three pillars. And really, this quote just sums it all up perfectly. Charisma isn't about how you look or how witty you are. It's about how you make other people feel when they're around you. It's an inside-out job. The effect you have on others is a direct result of your own internal state, being present, warm, and authentic. So I want to leave you with a question. As you head into your next big meeting or that networking event next week, which of these three pillars are you going to focus on first? Are you going to double down on being truly present? Or maybe practice some of that smart generosity? Or will you take on the challenge of letting go just a little bit of what others think? The journey to your own authentic charisma, it really starts with that one choice.